let's see how he does here. And here's Magnus Carlsen playing against Sychev, who looks a bit more nervous, but let's see what he can bring to the table. Magnus opening e4. We have a Sicilian, which we haven't seen a lot of at all in Magnus's games.
At all in this two events. He goes with c3.
Yep. d5. And now we transpose potentially into, it could be a French defense, or it can be, as Sychev has just played, a bit more of a random position. Magnus just looking to get some imbalances to work with and get some interesting positions. d3 is actually not so usual there. The move bishop d3 is one of the main moves. Grishchuk has played that a fair few times, but okay, d3. We have a position, knight c6. Sychev really needs to not spend too much time. For example, this is already a big blunder, in my opinion. He spent 10-15 seconds on knight c6. It's not a move you should be spending 10-15 seconds on. It's an automatic move, but okay, let's see if he makes up for it. And now the knight comes to g6.
Yeah, this maneuvering knight e7 and g6 also opens the spot for the bishop to come on e7 and to develop fully the king side. Usually these knights on g8 and the bishop on f8 are fighting for the same square. So there was the idea of this maneuvering, and also to attack the e5 pawn, which is isolated from the rest of the white's pawns. Do you think now bishop f4 is the only move to guard that pawn, or he will give up?
No, I think bishop f4 is too ugly. He's going to give up the pawn.
How about to take it knight c6 now? Knight c e5.
Yeah, that looks like a very sensible move. And the test now is for Magnus, like, where is your compensation? He is giving up a central pawn. He's going to try for rapid development, and I believe knight c5 is on the board. He takes on d4. Okay, well, if c takes d4, then you can take back on d4 with the knight.
Yeah, so black might consider here to take first knight on f3
right,
with a check, and then take pawn on d4. That's what he's doing. We have queen captures the pawn, and now c takes d4, and black has an extra pawn.
And h4, Magnus just saying, you know what, you're behind in development. I've got my king safe. I've got initiative. Bishop d6, but Sychev not concerned. And this is a bit of a mild bluff attempt by Magnus Carlsen, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. There is something here, but I don't think that's a huge compensation. Of course, Magnus will create something out of nothing, but in most of the games, other players, it will not be anything here for white.
Yeah, knight a3, knight b5 is now on tap. So Sychev just, yeah, he has to play more with instinct. Play a6. This is a move you can just play. You don't have to try and be cute looking at moves like knight e5 there. One thing you don't want to do against Magnus is be a minute behind on the clock, because more difficult decisions will come, and a6 was not a difficult decision. Now, Sychev is just a pawn up here.
Yeah, he's looking a lot Magnus in the face. I don't believe that's a good sign, and it's visible that he is a bit confused.
Well, he also understands that Magnus has got compensation here. Queen e4. This move looks to recapture on d4 just immediately. And now Sychev plays f5. Oh, there's a little idea here that if queen takes d4, I think he wants to play bishop c5, and then when the queen drops back, he wants to play the move queen takes g3.
Oh, nice pin. White can't capture that queen.
Wow.
Because it's pinned. She's going back queen e2. He's not falling for it.
But now if Sychev can get organized here, Magnus could be in a little bit of danger. Is he going to play e5? This is the natural move to try and expand and complete his mobilization. Looks like he is. There we go.
That also guards d4 pawn. And next he can do just to develop the bishop and connect the rooks, rook e8. If black manages to do that, black has no worries.
h5, kicking the knight back, knight to e7. Okay.
And in case of rook e1, now if white presses this e5 pawn, knight will go on c6, isn't it?
Possibly, yes. Bishop g5 instead. No threats. Magnus is not threatening anything particularly here. But he plays knight c6, which I really like. h6, creating some weaknesses around the king, I also like very much. This is a good, gives Magnus potentially long-term practical chances. Because, well, in this position, black decided to take, which is actually, I think, a very interesting decision. I don't dislike it. I actually think it's a pretty good decision. Rook f6 and rook g6, I actually love this decision. A lot of players would just play g6 there. Yeah. But then the pawn is a long-term thorn in black's side. So now he has a bit more space, but Magnus being aggressive.
How about queen f7 here? Oh no, bishop is hanging on d6. He cannot really play so fast.
No, it's protected by the rook. It's protected. Rook queen f7 is a move, but I prefer rook g6. It's a bit cleaner. Bishop d5 check, you just go king h8. You can also go bishop e6 there. It's not a big deal. And I expect maybe he does just go king h8. But you can see Sychev, 16 seconds only. This was the danger of spending too much time in the opening with the obvious moves, the easy moves. Now Magnus needs to find something. Rook a1.
Bishop d7. Finally, he develops the queen side. And if he manages to bring the rook in the action, black will have not so bad position.
King g2. Knight e7 hitting the bishop looks very decent. Unless something...
He also wants to bring bishop on c6 to...
Oh, bishop f7. Knight f6 works here.
How about bishop c6 check?
Sorry, bishop e... Oh, bishop e8. He gives up the...
exchange?
He gives up the exchange, but this is probably an okay decision to play like this. Just clearly, he got a bit nervous and something went wrong, but this position is solid now for black. It's probably...
Yeah, it's quite impressive how he's playing 6 seconds, 5, 4. He has to make a move. He made a move at 3 seconds.
Rook e8 defending the pawn. Magnus yet to find the true breakthrough. King g8. Is he going to play bishop f6 here? Yes, he does. e4. Knight d6, queen d6, just taking on d4. And now it's all-in mode. D takes e4, rook takes e4. 5 seconds left for Sychev.
Rook takes.
Takes.
Bishop takes with a check. He can also take a pawn with a check, but this...
Now queen takes and you exchange the queens. No, now it's over. Yeah, now Magnus is...
in his comfort zone.
Yeah.
With extra exchange.
This is going to be a win for Magnus. Rook e5. a3 will be played. Rook e4. No problem. Rook f4, rook h4. Now the bishop will sit on c3. He'll stabilize. And yeah, no chance for Sychev with 5 seconds. Even in a practical game, and now rook g7 or rook g5 wins the piece. That's enough.
Wow, well played. This is the situation when you really can't control your nerves, and then in the end, that's the